Hi all. So today I'm going to be doing a slightly different form of video, which I've not tried before. Obviously a lot of you will know me for my work in the Need for Speed and some other racing games that I've been playing. And I haven't been posting very much recently because my attention has been drawn all elsewhere, and specifically to chess. So this is going to be my next video and perhaps series of videos I'll be making. I wanted to analyse a particular game because it's a very interesting, pivotal game between Kasparov, who was at the time the world chess champion, and a supercomputer called Deep Blue. So there are already some videos on YouTube about this game. I'm going to be looking at some more specific aspects of this game and particularly analysing some lines which are more targeted towards novice players, lower level players, but I think some of the lines will also be interesting to more advanced players as well. So I'm not going to be talking too much about specific openings here and principles, as there are many other videos you can watch where this game is analysed and discussing these general principles. So we're going to start with the game. So Deep Blue is playing white and Kasparov playing the black pieces. So this is going to assume that you already have some kind of knowledge of the game chess, the objectives, general ideas, principles, this kind of thing. So starting with the first move, there are 20 possible first moves. I'll just go over this very briefly, but there are 20 possible first moves. We can bring out the knights, we can play knight f3, we can play d4, c5, so c5 the English. So there are many different openings that we can play. Chess is a game that hasn't been solved yet, so there are some other games that have been solved, like checkers, for example. Chess is still a theoretical game with emphasis more on strategy rather than solutions, so with that in mind, there is no perfect first move. And actually it'd be interesting to find out exactly how computers deal with opening moves, because they're usually a lot of the opening moves in principle are done over database efforts and tables, this kind of thing. So the computer may select multiple different first moves. Excuse me. The opening. So in this game, Deep Blue played the first move of e4, which probably for anyone who's ever played chess will kind of recognise this move as being pretty common and perhaps one of the first openings you can play. And Kasparov here, playing black, was typically well known for playing c5, which is known as the Sicilian defence opening. Again, there's a lot of videos already on YouTube about this game. This game was particularly crucial because it was the first time that the best computer in the world had ever beaten the world champion at a game of chess. I think it may even be in any sport, but certainly in chess. But yes, against human opponents, Kasparov was very happy to play c5 in these variations, which were more of a tactical nature. Because Kasparov was playing a computer, and computers are very strong, even then, in tactical positions, he wanted to avoid this. So that's why he went with the move variation of e5. Then we see knight f3 developing a piece and attacking the pawn. So this is all theory. Knight to c6. And again, white has many options here. You can bring the bishop to c4, you can bring out the knight, you go to the four knights game. There's many other variations, but the particular variation, and I think Kasparov was quite happy with the initial moves in this game, was the move to bishop to b5, which categorized this game as the Roy Lopez opening. So it's one of the most, one of the oldest openings in chess. Emphasis more on strategical positions, so which leads to a quieter game, less contact between pieces, this kind of thing. Kasparov played a6, which obviously attacks the bishop. Now, the idea obviously is that the bishop can capture the knight, and then this knight can capture this pawn. Kasparov played a bishop to a4. The bishop does have the option of capturing here, and then if you look at the theory, the pawn here can capture this knight. We go on to the next move. So in this position, It is possible to play b5, but it's generally considered that knight to f6 is the strongest move here. I will go back over these moves and just talk a little bit more about specific positions a little bit later. So knight to f6, so we can obviously see attacking the pawn on e4. A lot of players may wonder why in this position you can play a move like knight c3, but actually it's considered the best move is just a castle, and there's no threat here of the knight capturing this pawn because the rook can come to the e-file and this basically won't be free material. That isn't to say that knight captures here is not a bad move, but in general bishop to e7 is generally considered the strongest move, obviously preparing to castle, and then rook to e1. So this pawn is now defended, and we can sort of visualize this rook x-raying the pawn on e5. So that's why b5 is played, because the idea here for white is to capture this knight, which is the current defender of this pawn, and then so we can capture that back afterwards. So that's now a threat, so b5 and then bishop to b3, which is the only move, and then d6. So it's necessary for black to defend this central pawn here. Okay, so that's the first point. So now we see c3,